All right, I'll welcome in. We'll get started here. We're going to begin tonight with an opening statement from head coach Brian Schmetzer, then we'll get to your questions in the room. Brian?
Yeah, I just want to go on the record and say Nico is a very good coach, and that's a very good franchise. The best of three, how that played out, my substitution patterns or lack of substitutions at the end, there were some things that we're learning on the fly. But I just want to congratulate Nico and Dallas for a hard series. That game was intense. That game was super intense. And he did a good job when his team went back down to Dallas. And I learned some things, so I credit him, I credit Dallas. I talked to Dan a little bit before the game, Dan Hunt. They have a good franchise. Things are going well for them, so congratulations on a good season. I know they would have liked to extend it, but they've had some critical injuries, so he's playing a little shorthanded. But well done, Dallas, and well done, Nico.
All right, with that, we'll get to your questions here. I guess we'll start on this side with Jeremiah.
Yeah.
Mike's coming to you, Jeremiah.
Yeah, one shot allowed very late in the game. What can you just say about the effort of the midfield and your whole defensive effort?
Yeah, thank you for that, because I'm going to talk about my team now. 16 clean sheets, including the playoffs. Super talented goalkeeper. Team defending. You know what I would say is team defending, because even at the end there, everybody was scrapping. Jordan was still pressing. Nico was coming back. Albert was doing his thing. Christian was gassed, and he kept going. I mean, there was a lot of big plays. Yaimar clearing some headers. Alex 1v1. Knew who had a better performance today. So very proud of that group. I know I saw the stat. There wasn't much expected goals for them. To me, it's a clean sheet. If you keep clean sheets, you're gonna go pretty far.
Come down the line to Maz.
Brian, just to expand on the midfield, Joao Paulo seemed like he set the tone early and late. Can you just talk about?
Are you talking about the supposed foul he committed on top of their box, or what?
Well, there was, early on in the 6th minute, I could tell he was kind of doing this a lot to the players in terms of let's play.
Yeah, he was into the game. I think they all were. JP's contributions a lot of times go unnoticed. That one tackle that wasn't a foul, probably, maybe it's a dangerous play, but he was into the game. He was fired up. He worked hard. He was cramping up at the end. That's the reason why I had to sub him. There's no injury there. We brought Obed on. He's a winner.
How important is he to your whole?
It only makes everybody better, Moz. It makes everybody better defensively because he organizes stuff in front of him, and then he makes everybody better with his pass. That pass on turf to Albert, that's about as good a pass as you're going to get.
All right, we'll come on to the other side of the room here. Nico Moreno, I see you. Mike is coming around.
Coach, we talked a little bit about Jordan Morris coming into this game. It seemed like he was all over the field, really trying to get into it, whether he had the ball or not. He really had a lot of effort in that final third. Just wanted to get your take on how he played today. And then I also wanted to talk about Yaimar, someone who, he could be the front runner for Defender of the Year. His play here today for you today.
He's the front runner by your standard or by what you're hearing? Because you hear a lot of things.
By both there, yes.
Okay, all right, okay, all right. I'll start with Yaimar since we're talking about him. I mean, look, he's been good since he's got here. Certainly, he's been a Defender of the Year candidate more than 1 year. That speaks loudly. If he wins it, if he doesn't, it just shows that he's in that upper echelon of defenders in our league. As far as Jordan is concerned, he's enjoying his time playing up front. He presses, he goes, he's a big body. He's learning to use his body to shield the ball instead of challenging for headers. He just backs into guys, so he's learning some of the tricks of the trade as far as being a striker is concerned. There's still things that he needs to sharpen up on, and where he ends up at the end, is determined by the team. But he's a team guy. I mean, he would play here, he would play here, he would play here. He's done that all year long. And so I give him a ton of credit for wherever we put him. We're putting his, energy, enthusiasm, his loyalty to the club, to his teammates. That's always on display.
Go to Nico Antun.
So Brian, same lineup as game 1 and game 2, not the result from that was desired last week, but obviously today is a desired result. What do you think was the key difference tactically with the team today?
Well, we had made some adjustments on how they pressed with their front three down in Dallas. We kept Josh and JP a little more narrow, Josh a little bit more disciplined, to try and squeeze their forwards again. There were moments where we would pull Albert or Christian a little bit lower, or Alex on the other side a little more shallow. So there were some tactical tweaks. I think the teams knew each other. I think, again, it just came down to making plays. I mean, our guys made a play when we needed to, and, they're guys that made the plays down in Dallas did the best they could, but unfortunately they couldn't find a goal.
Right here.
So the defense did a really good job of breaking up Dallas's offensive attacks. What do you think was the most important factor in creating that play, and how would you expect that to continue with regards to the match against LAFC?
You mean our overall defending?
Overall defending and just attacking them on the defense and breaking up their...
Well, yeah, that's a good question because, look, at home, I've said this before, we like to be on the front foot. We like to press out of our mid-block, and then there's certain triggers that we have where we press a little higher up the field, and so I think the guys were effective tonight. I think, we had some good chances in the second half from our pressure. We just didn't, convert them. So it could have been 2-0 at halftime. Maybe the game becomes a little bit easier. But, I'm proud of the guys, and I like the way we play. I like being aggressive at home.
Good, John.
Speaking to you guys and the way you play at home, how much of an advantage is it now that you have home field advantage through the rest of the Western Conference up to MLS Cup?
The only thing missing from tonight, John, was a little more rain. You get rain, wind, turf. I mean, that gives us an advantage. Seattle sunshine. I think that's what they call it.
Another guy, I'm sure we could just name all 12, 13 players that played today, but Albert Rusnuk's, his ability early on to make those runs, and then on that play.
There's a stat from Kevin, I know you're the boss, but from Kevin and all the guys over there, I think Albert's 7 goals this year are all game winners. You guys have to verify that, but that's pretty impressive. Tonight's no different. So kudos to Albert, kudos to our crack staff.
Thank you for that. Jeremiah.
Yeah, again on Albert, that's his 5th goal, I think, in 10 games, something like that. How has his change which basically coincided with his move to number 10 spot? And I'm just curious, in your idea, how is he being used differently, and what is he being asked to do?
Well, I mean, he's 15, 20 yards higher up the field. Albert's done a great job. Look, we won Champions League with him playing next to JP and Nico up a line, and I still have that option. But he's certainly enjoying playing. He's enjoying that spot on the field. It probably suits his best talents. But again, he's another team guy, just like you talk about Jordan, just talk about Nico, you talk about Steph, you talk about Christian, you talk about all the guys. He's a team guy. He would play wherever we asked him to with the same enthusiasm, the same quality. And that's why you have a team that has a chance now with some home games to go a little further in the playoffs.
Go to Ari over here.
Yeah, Coach, so LAFC up next. You guys have had some memorable matchups with them over the years. Just what are your early thoughts on that matchup and what you expect from their team.
Steve's a great coach. They have the Golden Boot winner. Thanks for your article on Christian, by the way. Look, it's a very good team. Ante, former coach for us. A little bit of a history there for sure. I mean, you might want to throw out the COVID year, or maybe you don't. 2019 certainly was a good year for us, but Steve's taken over and done a tremendous job. John Thornton has done a great job moving players in and out. So that's a great franchise.
Diego.
I'll keep it short. Buenas noches.
Buenas noches. Felicitaciones por el triunfo y por toda la campaña de este año. Ganando 1-0 y faltando tan poco para el término del partido, el cambio de Joao Paulo se debió a un tema de táctico, a un tema de lesión, de cansancio del jugador.
Congratulations on the game and on the season in general, on the campaign. Winning by 1-0 and waiting towards the end to the substitution of JP. Was it a tactic? Was it a injury? Or was it just that he was completely...
Yes, he was cansado, he was tired, and he was feeling some cramps. So that was precautionary. He is fine, but he covered a lot of ground. And he put his every effort into the game. So we just made the sub because he was tired.
Él estaba al final del partido cansado, tenía una serie de calambres, digamos, y era importante que le diéramos oportunidad para que se recupere, porque cubrió mucho en el campo, cubrió mucho espacio en el campo, y ese esfuerzo obviamente lo cansó, y por cansado lo cambiamos.
Final few. Moss, yeah. Mike's coming to you.
Well, we can't get away without talking about Stephen Fry and the shutout. I know you talked about team defense, but what can you say just about that play from there?
Well,
that player from.
yeah. So Berkey got the Goalkeeper of the Year award. I think our score lines against St. Louis made a pretty big statement. I think Steph is in the upper echelons of this league this year, last year, the year before, 2019, that's my math correct, 2018, 2017, 2016, 2014. I mean, he's been a, top goalkeeper in our league for a long time. And he's going to continue to be a quality goalkeeper for us for hopefully a few more years. But let's just see.
Miss anybody? John, you can close this out.
Brian, 4 years ago to the day, you won the 2019 MLS Cup here. Comparing that team to this team now and the chance you have at this run, how do you like your chances for another final?
That's a tough one. I mean, look, this year's story isn't finished. Maybe ask me that after, this team has a good shot. Look, they got a good shot. We got a couple of home games if we can make it past LAFC, and who knows. I think in 2019 we were surprised at Toronto. I think they upset a few people and we got the home game. So you never know what's going to happen in MLS. Peter, you were there. I think you remember all that. Good to see you. Let's just see. Let's hold off on that question. I'll let you know after the season's over.
Thanks all. Locker room's open.
Okay, thank you.